Hi, my name is Steven and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about things I got rid of, optimizing my life. In our fast-paced and messy life, there are a lot of things that we can simplify and optimize. And the idea about decluttering and getting rid of unnecessary things isn't about tidiness. It's about efficiency and intentionalness with the material goods in our life. As we accumulate things along the journey of our life, we can get overburdened physically and mentally with the things that we own. And this can lead to overwhelm and disorganization within our lives. So it's important to approach material goods within our lives with intention and minimalism. Throughout my life, I've always tried to keep my life as simply as I possibly can. But in my early 20s, when I was first getting out into the world, I started accumulating a lot of stuff. It was about me following my peers and keeping up with the Joneses. This put me down a path that I didn't necessarily enjoy, and I accumulated a lot of material goods during that time. Only after a few years where I started to remove these things did I gain control back in my life. Decluttering not only transforms our physical spaces, but our mental headspace as well. And it overall contributes to better mental well-being and increased productivity. So let's go through some of the things that I got rid of to help my life. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my background, the things that I got rid of, and my general thoughts. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with friends, hit that notification bell if you like this content. And here we go. Failing to be mindful of the physical things in our lives can contribute to a degradation of our mental well-being. And continuously gathering more things can overwhelm us the older we are. We are in a society that is driven by consumerist culture and the need to buy more and more things throughout our lives. It is a hallmark of our success in the world to have a lot of things. But the consequence of this is not all the things in our lives actually contribute to it. It just results in a cluttering and suffocating environment for ourselves and our family, and ultimately contributing to chaos and disarray within our lives. Lately, peace of mind has been on the forefront of my mind, and I want to do things to contribute to more peace in my life. I found that over time, removing things from my life added more peace than adding to it. Certain things increased my physical and mental well-being just by having it out of the picture, and made my life significantly more efficient and unburdened as a result of this. These range from organization and optimization of the space I have, and also getting rid of the clutter I don't need anymore. And also there's mental aspects of this as well. And by removing certain negative aspects of what I believed in also helped me to unburden myself. And once I was able to remove that from my life, mental stress just melts away. So here are the things that I got rid of. Number 1, physical copies of things. Eliminating physical clutter is number 1 in reducing stress and anxiety. And streamlining our living space can help us dramatically to fit other things within our life and help remove those physical things that don't really need to be in our lives due to this digital age. When we go to digital copies of physical things, we reduce a lot of space that we need for it. This decluttering process is in itself therapeutic for us to go through and helps us to focus and remove those things that we don't actually need anymore. It's much easier to find something online digitally versus finding it in physical form in boxes somewhere in your apartment or house. Nowadays, I only use digital copies wherever possible. There's no need for me to have physical objects anymore. Especially with being able to access anything online through the internet, there's just no reason to have DVDs, CDs, or any other physical media. I remember lugging around from apartment to apartment a library of DVDs, Blu-rays, and books. And these went from storage place to storage place. I didn't actually take them out and use them. It was much easier to just look up something online. Likewise, old mail and scanned documentation is much easier to keep forever than physical paper. I just store them in my computer or back them up on a hard drive. This takes the physical copies of everything completely out of my life and I can search it digitally. So I unburden myself with physical things that I don't need to have anymore. Number 2, keeping up with fads. Choosing not to keep up with fads is a powerful strategy to safeguard your mental and physical well-being, and it reduces the stress and anxiety to keep up with everyone else in our culture. The constant pressure to conform with trends is ever present. It creates a sense of inadequacy and stress needlessly within our lives. Because when we compare ourselves to other people, we constantly want to keep up with the Joneses, rather than accept and focus in on ourselves and being authentic just the way we are. Breaking free from the cycle of fads and trends helps us to obtain more peace in our lives by focusing on what we truly value and need in our lives rather than some fleeting thing. This one for me is hard to go through because there's a lot of peer pressure to keep up with culture. As an adult, I've been pretty good at avoiding most fads in my life, but I'm not immune to this. Fads are fleeting and they consume so much time to try to get up to speed with your peers. And they can disappear just as quickly, so you wasted all your time trying to get better at something. Unless you're really passionate about this particular fad, there's no real need to invest so much time and energy into it. As a child, I tried to follow fads as much as I could, but I felt completely behind on every single one of them. I never really got good enough to keep up with my peers before the next fad set in. This kept me in a constant state of inadequacy within my childhood life. Now as an adult, I'm trying my best to filter out that noise whenever possible. And it helps me to see how quickly fads appear and then disappear, so that I don't even think that they're impacting my life overall. So removing fads from my life has definitely made me happier as a person as a result of it. I don't miss them at all, and I don't think you will either. Number 3, negative self-talk. Eliminating negative self-talk is one of the key things that I got rid of in my life. This definitely decreases stress and anxiety across the board, and it has significant positive mental aspects to it. The internal dialogue we might have with ourselves might be extremely toxic. And depending on what we say to ourselves, it can really impact how we show ourselves to the world. Replacing it with positive affirmations is definitely a way to safeguard your mental well-being. And also, by breaking that self-doubt cycle, you stop beating up on yourself. This in itself leads to increased resilience and self-confidence, because you're removing the negative voice and replacing it with the neutral or positive one. Removing negative talk also allows you to be happier and more joyful in your life. For me, this one was big. Before I moved out of my parents' house, I would have a lot of negative self-talk. And this was because of my childhood and how I was raised by my parents. But once I was able to move out into the world without my parents, that negative self-talk slowly disappeared. This was because I wasn't surrounded by negativity. I wasn't surrounded by anything but peace and quiet. And over time, there was no additional negativity, so it started to become more neutral and positive. Without that constant negative noise, I was able to build up my self-confidence. And that helped me to be far more positive in my overall well-being. I was able to cultivate this and push myself to greater and greater challenges and overcome them. I consider this almost a cheat code in my life because I wasn't having the anchor or the weight being dragged on my feet anymore. I was able to go full speed into life and take on the challenges as I see fit with full self-esteem. And I was able to accomplish great things in my middle to late 20s. So removing negativity was a big boost in optimizing my life. And number 4, overcommitting. One key way to optimize your life is to stop overcommitting to things you can't take on. Because when you overcommit, you take on more stress, you might fatigue yourself, and lose the trust of others that depend on you. When you rein in overcommitment, you're more able to juggle your own schedules and your energy levels, and allow you to set more realistic boundaries of what you can actually get done and do that well. This ultimately gets you more self-control of your life. This leads to an overall better sense of well-being and joyful lifestyle. I said yes and overcommitted to a lot of things in my teens and early 20s. I did learn a lot by doing this and experience a lot of new things, but it ultimately wasn't worth it. I was going through the motions of random things that weren't aligned with my goals in life. The shallowness in which I did everything didn't allow me to fully enjoy what I was doing. This led to a dramatic decline in my happiness. I was trying to start my own company and be in the tech scene in Silicon Valley. This was not smart for me because I needed to focus on the job I was paid to do, not some fleeting opportunity at a startup. Had I truly been aligned with the things that I wanted to get good at or needed to get good at, I would have enjoyed my life more. And I also would have leveled up and gained experience in that chosen activity a lot faster, rather than spreading myself thin and not doing well in any one particular thing. So I got rid of overcommitting to things in my life, and that's benefited my life greatly. So here are my general thoughts on getting rid of things in your life. The general mentality in our consumerist mindset is to just buy things to fix a problem. There is a tool or widget for everything to give you more peace in life. There's also an underlying assumption that if you need peace in life, there's a widget to solve your every need. From a human standpoint, this is just not true. Some of the best ways we can bring more peace and optimize our life is to remove the stuff that's cluttering our mind and our physical spaces. And you can often get more out of removing some problematic thing in your life than adding a new thing into your life. Because not all of this is easy, because some of the things that you need to get rid of are mental challenges. But overall, keep in mind that you can't necessarily spend your way out of problems and get more peace through money. And as with anything in life, getting rid of bad habits might be extremely difficult and time-consuming. And depending on the habit, it can take years for you to properly get rid of it or mitigate its worst effects. For sure, the mental things in my life that I got rid of took years, if not decades, to implement. Especially the negative self-talk. I did not remove that overnight at all. It took years of hard work and not being in a bad environment to help me to get over it. So my advice is, if you're truly focused on optimizing your life, it might take a long time for you to implement. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but ultimately very worth it. So those are some of the things that I got rid of that helped me to optimize my life. Things that I got rid of ultimately improved my life drastically. Because modern life is chaotic and can fill your headspace and physical space with stress and anxiety. We can't always buy our ways to an optimized life, so sometimes we need to remove the things that are already there in order for us to not worry about that physical and mental thing anymore. After filling my life with stuff in my early 20s, I gradually started the process of removing things little by little, and it helped me to quell the stress and anxiety that built up over time. Nowadays, I'm much more focused on getting rid of things that are more problematic than adding to it. So I hope this video helps you to think about what things that you can get rid of in your life to reduce stress and anxiety and optimize your life. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below on what is one thing that you want to get rid of in your life and what do you think the impacts of it are. And I'll see you next time.